Hello, I'm Nikki Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support us.
Welcome back to our channel for another massive update on all the wild drama happening right now. Today is a crazy day for soap news, and we have a ton of unbelievable spoilers to unpack together. Let us dive right into the absolute chaos unfolding on our screens. So we need to talk about Las Vegas, because things in Sin City are getting totally out of control. And honestly, it is hard to watch. Nick Newman is in serious trouble. He is not just tied up in some random hotel room. He is literally fighting for his life. And it is all because of Matt Clark. Matt is a monster. He has been feeding Nick drugs for weeks, fentanyl, just pumping him full of it, and now Nick is a full-blown addict. It is so sad to see a strong guy like Nick reduced to this. But that is exactly what Matt wants. Matt wants Nick broken. He wants him weak. He wants him begging for the next hit. And Matt is using the drugs to completely control him. But Matt is not just stopping at Nick. Oh no, Matt has a whole sick plan. He is standing there in that dirty room, and he is taunting Nick. He is looking right into Nick's eyes and telling him exactly what he is going to do next. And it is chilling. Matt tells Nick that he is going to be too messed up to save his family. Matt specifically names them. He says he is going after Sharon. He says he is going after Noah Newman. And he even brings up Sienna Bacall, which is wild, because Sienna is just Noah's new older girlfriend. But Matt does not care. He wants to destroy everything Nick loves. He wants Nick to know that while he is laying there high on fentanyl, his family is going to suffer. And Nick will not be able to do a single thing about it. And Nick just has to listen to this. He is so drugged up, he can barely keep his eyes open. But he hears Matt, he hears the threats, and it is tearing him apart inside. Because Nick has always been the protector. He is the guy who steps up, but right now he cannot even stand up. The fentanyl has completely taken over his body. Matt is just laughing. He is having the time of his life watching Nick suffer. He promised to feed Nick's addiction, and he is doing it. But he is pushing him right to the edge of an overdose. It is a very dangerous game. But here is the thing about Matt. He is getting too cocky. He thinks he has won. He thinks he holds all the cards. But he is actually juggling way too many things at once. Because Matt is not just dealing with Nick. He also has to deal with Adam Newman. And Adam is not playing around. Adam is back in his dark spider persona. And Adam has Reza Thompson helping him. Reza knows everyone in Vegas. She knows the underground. And she is totally on Adam's side. Plus there is Chelsea Lawson. Chelsea is freaking out back in Genoa City, but she is making noise. She is causing a scene, and all of this is starting to distract Matt. Matt has to keep his eyes on Adam. He has to worry about what Reza is planning. And that distraction is going to be his biggest mistake. Because while Matt is busy looking over his shoulder for Adam, he completely forgets about the ultimate wild card, Sharon. Sharon is not just going to sit around in Wisconsin while the father of her children is missing. She has been getting those weird phone calls from Nick. She heard him nodding off on the phone. She knows he is on drugs, and Sharon knows trauma. She was just kidnapped by Martin Laurent a year ago. She knows what it is like to be held hostage. So she is not waiting for the cops. She is taking action. And it is so easy to picture this scene. Just imagine it. Sharon somehow tracks down the location. Maybe she gets a tip. Maybe she just uses her gut instinct. But she finds the place. It is this dark, dirty storage room, a warehouse out in the middle of nowhere. And Sharon breaks in. She pushes the door open. And what she sees is a total nightmare. Nick is on the floor, and he is dying. He is literally dying. The drugs have finally pushed his body too far. He's overdosing. Matt pushed him too hard. Or maybe Nick took too much trying to numb the pain. But he is barely breathing. His skin is pale. He is sweating. He is slipping away, and Sharon just panics. She runs over to him. She drops to her knees on that dirty floor. She is grabbing his face. She is screaming his name. But Nick is barely responding. He is so deep into the fentanyl overdose that he cannot even focus on her face. So Sharon has to act fast. She cannot just cry. She pulls out her phone. She calls for help. She is screaming at the dispatcher to send an ambulance to the warehouse. She knows every second counts. If the paramedics do not get there with Narcan right now, Nick is going to die. It is just raw panic, and it is so intense because Sharon and Nick have so much history. They have been through everything together. The death of Cassie, the divorces, the affairs. But they always come back to each other. And right now, Sharon is looking at the man she loves dying on a concrete floor. And this is where things get really emotional. Because while they are waiting for the ambulance, Nick kind of wakes up for a second. The adrenaline of seeing Sharon cuts through the drugs just a little bit. And he realizes he is dying. He feels his heart slowing down. He knows this might be the end, and he looks at Sharon. And the romance between them just explodes. Their love story has been kind of stalled lately. They have been busy with other things. But right now, none of that matters. Facing death changes everything. Nick looks up at Sharon with tears in his eyes. He is struggling to breathe, and he just blurts it out. He tells her he loves her. But more than that, he proposes right there on the floor. While he's overdosing, he tells Sharon that his biggest regret is that they are not married. He wishes he had remarried her when he had the chance. He says he feels like he is out of time. He thinks he is not going to get another chance to put a ring on her finger. It is such a heartbreaking moment. Nick is just pouring his heart out. He is apologizing for everything. He is telling her she is the love of his life, and Sharon is just sobbing. She is holding his hand so tight, but she refuses to accept this as goodbye. Sharon is a fighter. She looks at Nick and she tells him no. She tells him she is not accepting a deathbed proposal. She tells him he has to fight. She encourages him to hold on. She tells him to be patient. She says, "You get through this nightmare. You survive this overdose, and then you can ask me again." Sharon makes him promise. She demands that Nick promises to stay alive so they can have a real wedding. She wants a redo. She wants the whole thing. And she uses that hope to keep him awake. She keeps talking to him about their future, about their kids, about Noah and Faith. She's just doing everything she can to keep his brain active while the drugs try to shut his organs down. It is pure soap opera gold. But wait, because the story gets even crazier. We have to rewind a little bit. We have to talk about how Nick ended up on the floor in the first place. Because it was not just a simple overdose. Something massive happened right before Sharon walked in. Before Sharon got there, Matt and Nick had a massive fight. A fierce argument. Matt was taunting Nick about Noah and Sienna. Matt was getting right in Nick's face, laughing at him, telling him his son was going to be next. And Nick just snapped. The drugs were messing with his head. He was paranoid. He was terrified for his family. And he was full of rage. Somehow, Nick managed to get his hands on a weapon. Maybe Matt dropped it. Maybe Nick had it hidden. But Nick pulled out a knife. And the argument just exploded into violence. Nick lunged at Matt. It was sloppy because Nick was so high, but he was fueled by pure adrenaline and fatherly instinct. And Nick stabbed Matt. He actually stabbed him with the knife. It was a horrific moment. Blood everywhere. The situation just became so much more complicated than anyone ever expected. Matt went down, and he went down hard. Nick stopped him deep. And Matt hit the floor bleeding out. So now we have this massive question. Is Matt dead? Because if Matt is dead, everything changes. Nick is not just a kidnapping victim anymore. He is a guy who just killed a man in a dirty warehouse in Las Vegas. Yes, it was self-defense. Yes, Matt was torturing him, but Nick is also high on illegal narcotics. The cops are going to walk into a scene with drugs, a bloody knife, a dead body, and Nick Newman. It looks incredibly bad. And Nick knows how bad it looks. Even through the fentanyl haze, Nick knows he is in massive trouble. When you stab someone, you panic. So what is Nick going to do? Is he going to run? It is very possible. Nick might think his only option is to go on the run. He might think the cops will never believe him. He has fentanyl in his system. He has a history of violence when it comes to protecting his family. He might just panic and try to flee the scene before the ambulance even gets there. But he is also overdosing. So he cannot run far. That is probably why he collapsed on the floor right after stabbing Matt. The adrenaline wore off. The drugs took over and his body just shut down. And that is when Sharon finds him. So Sharon walks into a room with Nick dying of an overdose and Matt Clark bleeding out from a stab wound. It is the most chaotic scene ever. Sharon has to process all of this in a split second. She sees the knife, she sees Matt, she knows Nick did it. And she has to decide how to handle this. Does she tell the cops the truth? Does she try to cover for Nick? Sharon is fiercely protective. She might try to wipe Nick's prints off the knife. She might try to say she stabbed Matt to protect Nick. Sharon has done crazy things for love before. And right now, she just wants to save Nick's life. But we also have to think about Adam. Adam is out there looking for Nick. Adam and Riza are turning Vegas upside down. What happens when Adam finally arrives at the warehouse? Adam is going to see the mess. Adam has a lot of experience covering up crimes. Remember, Adam is the king of dark secrets. If Matt is dead, Adam might step in and help Nick dispose of the body. Adam might use Riza's underground connections to make Matt Clark just disappear. That would be a huge twist, the Newman brothers bonding over a covered-up murder. But Matt Clark is a tough guy. Maybe he is not dead. Maybe the stab wound was just bad enough to knock him out. If Matt survives, he is going to be even more furious. He will use the stabbing to press charges against Nick. He will claim Nick attacked him in a drug-fueled rage. He will try to send Nick to prison. Matt is manipulative enough to spin this whole thing to make himself look like the victim. And what about Noah and Sienna? Matt threatened them. If Matt survives, Noah is still in danger. Sienna is in danger. Nick is going to be terrified that Matt will send his goons after his son. This whole situation is just a giant mess. It is spiraling completely out of control. Fans are going crazy online about this. People are so stressed for Nick. Joshua Morrow is going to act his heart out in these scenes. Playing a fentanyl addict who stabs his kidnapper and then proposes to his ex-wife while overdosing. That is Emmy Award-winning material right there. The fans are ready for the Schick reunion. They want Sharon and Nick back together. And nothing brings a soap couple together faster than a near-death experience and a murder cover-up. But the drug addiction is going to be a long road. Even if Nick survives the overdose, he is physically addicted to fentanyl now. Matt made sure of that. Nick is going to have to go to rehab. He is going to have severe withdrawals. He is going to be weak. And Sharon is going to have to nurse him back to health. It is going to test their relationship. Nick is a proud man. He hates being weak. Having to rely on Sharon to get through drug detox is going to be very hard on his ego. And Victor Newman is going to lose his mind. Victor does not even know this is happening yet. Victor is busy fighting with Phyllis over the company. He is telling Claire that accountability is for the weak. But when Victor finds out his son was kidnapped, pumped full of fentanyl, and forced to stab a guy in Vegas, Victor is going to unleash hell. He is going to send his entire security team to Vegas. If Matt Clark is still alive, Victor will make sure he does not stay alive for long. Victor does not forgive people who hurt his children. Victoria is also going to be shocked. She has been defending Victor's ruthless behavior. But seeing what happened to Nick might wake her up. It might show her that the Newman family's enemies are playing for keeps. And Nikki is already dealing with a crushed hand from Diane. When Nikki hears about Nick, she might just break down completely. The Newman family is under attack from all sides, so we just have to wait and see how this all plays out. Will the paramedics get there in time to hit Nick with Narcan? Will Matt Clark bleed to death on the floor? Will Adam help cover up this stabbing? And will Nick and Sharon actually get married when this is all over? There are so many moving parts to this storyline. It is raw. It is gritty. It is not the usual corporate boardroom drama. This is life or death in a dirty warehouse. And we are here for every single second of it. The writers are really pushing the envelope with the drug storyline. Fentanyl is no joke. And showing the brutal reality of an overdose is a bold move for the show. So keep watching, keep your eyes on Vegas, because Nick Newman's life is hanging by a thread. And Sharon might be the only one who can pull him back from the edge. It is going to be a wild ride. And we will be right here to break down every single crazy moment for you.